Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Legacy Media Podcast, where we are all about adding value to your brand in order to help build it into a legacy. My name is Kenneth, and I am the host of this podcast. Today, I'm super excited because I have an amazing guest on, a really close friend, actually, who I've just built a relationship with over the last year and a half, almost 2 years. And he is actually a client of mine as well. And so, without further ado, let me introduce you to today's guest, and that person is Nathan Pinkerton. Nathan, welcome to the show.
Hey man, thanks so much for having me on. I'm excited for our convo today, and let's talk about how we can build a brand with legacy media.
Yeah, come on, let's go. So Nathan, I remember the first time I met you, just for some context for those who are listening today. The first time I met you, I came across your Facebook page, and this was in the early parts of my business. I had just lost my job about 2 months prior, and I was like, there's this guy named Nathan Pinkerton. I feel like I need to meet him. And so you were the first person I ever took out for lunch to meet. Ironically, I didn't really take
Wow.
you out for lunch because you bought my lunch.
Yeah.
So, but we had a great conversation. We honestly just talked, kind of crazy. We talked about faith the majority of the time.
Yeah.
And you provided me an opportunity through that. At the end, you're like, hey, why don't you come to my brokerage and speak to my realtors about what you can offer them? And that way I can, try to help you out. And so what's crazy is that you added so much value to me that day. And I know I'm giving a really long intro to this, but Nathan, I think I've told you, but you had told me maybe a few months or 6 months after, whatever it was, that you said, Kenneth, you came to my brokerage, you talked to my team. I did that because I was looking for a way to add value to you. And I'm always trying to find ways I can add value to somebody without getting anything in return. And dude, in my mind, I'm like mind blown. And I was like, that is the best business approach, like relational business approach I've ever heard of. And man,
Wow.
you're a solid realtor who is just really, really good at relational building with clients and other realtors, marketing yourself through relationships. And so I've talked a lot about just our as an intro perspective of like our relationship, but can you tell us just really quick, a very quick brief explanation, like who are you, how long you've been in real estate, where are you located? Let's start there and we'll get the conversation rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Nathan Pinkerton. If I had to like apply titles to my life, the first and foremost would be husband and father. Been married for 18 years, father of five. But when it comes to business, I've been in real estate for 10 years. I am the co-owner of our brokerage here in Burleson, Texas, with the sales team Realtors. And got into real estate kind of on a whim. I had another small business that I had structured to run without me. And so I was like, okay, what's next? I don't need to just be sitting around doing nothing. And real estate was a pretty clear path for me. I was so fascinated by homes. I was always on Zillow and realtor.com looking up things
Yeah.
and saying, that's a good deal. That's not a good deal. And so when it came time to tackle that question of what's next, I jumped into real estate, and that was 10 years ago next month. So
Wow.
just yeah, it's been a great journey. Wouldn't want to be doing anything else other than real estate.
That's awesome, man. Well, yeah, you've been the sales team. I mean, I've met your the other owners. It's funny because I thought the sales team was just a name of a brokerage, but that's actually their last name.
Right,
So,
yeah. Yeah, my business partners Brian and Laura Sales began this brokerage in Midland, where I'm from, just over 10 years ago. December was the 10-year anniversary.
right.
And
Wow.
built an amazing company, and now we're two branches, two locations, one in Midland, Odessa, and one here in DFW. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, so cool, man. What I like about you and your team, and really what you breed at the sales team, is a true relational focused business. And so y'all do such a great job of that. I mean, you got some great people. You got, Tina Pace, who I think the world of. She's amazing. And I'm using her as an example. I just don't think I've met anybody on this planet who's met Tina who doesn't like her.
Right.
And so you have some great people. And
Absolutely.
I think that's to credit to what you and your business partners have built at the sales team. And I remember one of the first times I came into your building, walk in, and down the hallway, there's this kind of mural. It covers the whole wall. It's this
Yeah.
huge, huge wall art thing. And it's core values, just filled with core values.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing that, and it left such an impression on me. I'm like, that is so cool to see. It's so awesome that, like, you walk into a place of business like that and you can't deny that it's a place focused on core values. So, Nathan, that's a huge part of our conversation today is really just how core values play a part into marketing yourself and how it helps build your brand. People may not think that core values, what's the point of that? But y'all have been intentional with it at sales team. I know you just as a friend are very intentional with just having values for you and your family as well. And so let me lead into this. So what are some of the core values that you have as a realtor business owner, and how do they show up in your everyday business? Can you maybe give us some of those?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think of when, but I'm thinking maybe 10, 15 years ago, core values really came to the forefront, and it became this thing where companies, you got to define who you are, right? And the unfortunate thing is that for a lot of companies, they're just on the wall, right? And they're not ingrained in the fabric of the
Yeah,
people. And that's a big deal, because a lot of companies do have them posted on the wall like we do. But if you look at
right.
their people, do the people embody? And that's really why we have core values for us at the sales team realtors is we get like this. We are a core values driven company.
Mm,
And what I mean
that's
by that
good.
is if you just break down that statement of we're driven by our
Yes,
core values are driving the vehicle of our business. And
right.
that's really who we are. And we all of that came from, I think it's Jim Rohn, the old motivational speaker. Jim Rohn said, if your values are clear, your decisions are easy. And that's
Mm,
been so true for us because we have four core values for our company, but those core values bleed through everything we do. It bleeds through the agents that we hire and bring on. It
yeah,
bleeds through the decisions we make financially. It bleeds through the decisions we make for our agents and how we're going to train and do things like that. But
yeah,
that never a truer statement was spoken. But if your values are clear, your decisions are easy. And that's why we have them, right? And
yeah.
for our company now, I'm so thankful for my business partners, Brian and Laura. They developed these core values before I even came along. But
Mm,
when I'm interviewing agents to bring them onto our company, I say it like this. For us, since we are a core values driven company, if you cut us, these four things are what we would bleed, right? That they're on the
right.
inside of us. And so for us at the sales team realtors, those four core values are relationships, integrity, excellence, and one that you don't see on a whole lot of walls or with a whole lot of companies, but the fourth one is called grace.
Yeah,
And we can get into those and talk about each one, but literally those four items are on the inside of us and they're on the inside of
mm,
every agent that comes to work for us. And I don't mean this in like a prideful way at all, but we don't want to be a company where come one, come all. We literally want to
right.
hire and bring on people who embody the things that are important to us, and that's relationships, integrity, excellence, and grace.
Yeah, man, that I love it because you're so right. If you don't have those things in place, you tend to not really know who you are. I feel like it's almost like if you don't have core values, then you can say all day long, like, hey, this is like I'm a realtor, I do this, I have the best, listings out there. We do luxury listings, we do videos, we do blah 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 blah. And all that's cool. But if you don't have core values being the foundation point of your business, then all those other things are great, but they don't really have a foundation to stand on. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I think of it like it's literally a way for people to know you before they know you. And what I loved about when I walked in your building and I saw your core values automatically in my mind and in my heart. I mean, it got my heart, bro. I was like, man, I align with that. Like that sounds like me. And
Yeah.
what's so cool is that those values, they position you for alignment with clients, and it positions you with an opportunity to serve them because like what would you say when people are looking for a realtor and they're trying to find somebody they call sales team, do you think that those values that you have in place are important to them?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it was the old Notre Dame football coach Lou Holtz who said this. He said, "There's three questions that every client is always asking, and it's, can I trust you? Are you good at
Mm,
what you do? And do you care about me? Can I trust you?
mhm,
Are you good at what you do? Do you care about me?" Those are the three questions that everybody's asking. And what's really cool is our four core values address each one of those questions. Can
mhm.
I trust
Yeah,
you? Integrity, right? That's one of our core
yeah,
values. Always do the right thing. Are you good at what you do? Excellence, right? It's our minimum
mhm,
standard. And then do you care about me? Relationships, right? That's three of our four, and they addressed immediately those three questions that every client is always asking. And so it's exactly that. It's that we can make our decisions easy based on these values that we hold. And so if we're on a listing appointment, or if I've got an agent in front of me that I'm trying to recruit into our brokerage, I can hold up just four things, right? And go, are we in alignment with these things? And it makes the
Right.
decision easy, right? And that's the beautiful thing is we want to train our agents to build a business to the point that, there are some people that aren't who you want to work with, to put it nicely,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And if you've built a strong enough business, you have that ability to say no to some people. And that's the beautiful thing. And that's how core values help us is we hold them up and we hold our decisions up to those core values, and it makes the decision easy.
Yeah. Yeah, because it again it positions you in a place of like of serving people. And I think it's why like I mean any brand that you enjoy, let's say you're really big into like I don't know, Nike or Reebok or something. The reason that keeps you going back, honestly, is they may not be blaring it in your face, but it's because they have a standard set in place for the quality of service and the product. And what's our standard in the business place? It's got to be core values. It's got to be core values. And it's core values. I mean, it's a means to serve people. Like I just started building out my business core values. My business starting to grow a little bit. I'm bringing on a photographer, possibly another one by the summer. And so I'm like, okay, I was like talking with the Lord about it. I'm like, okay, Lord, I feel like I need to actually have some stuff set in stone to know like who am I? Like it's I like it when you said like when if you cut yourself, what are you going to bleed? Like what do I bleed at the end of the day? What things has set my business apart that I want to be intentional with on those specific things? And these standards are core values. So whether it may be a value of integrity, of excellence, of respect, of service first, of honor. I mean, whatever it may be, I think you just got to determine what that is for yourself. And so, Nathan, how would you lead somebody? For who are listening, somebody's clicked this episode because they're like, core values may be the missing piece to me building my brand as a real estate agent. For people actually getting to know who I am. So, how would you lead somebody into determining what their core values are for themselves and helping them market themselves and build a brand?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think that it's kind of twofold, right? I think it's what's on the inside of me, right? You have the term core values, so it's at the core, right?
Sure.
It's what's on the inside of me. What is unique about me that I want to bring to the marketplace? But two, I think there's also this level of aspiration, right? Who do I want to be,
Mm.
right? Who do I want to be
Oh,
in the
that's
marketplace?
good.
And so it to me, that's kind of that twofold. It's like, what's unique about me that I want to bring into the marketplace, but also who do I want my employees or for me, my agents, who do I want them to aspire to be? They may not be there fully yet, but how do
Mm.
we aspire to be excellent, right? How do we
Yeah.
aspire to have integrity? Real estate is a very diverse industry with so many
Right.
gray areas and loopholes that, there's ample opportunity to do the wrong thing, right? But I want
Yeah,
our people
for
to
sure.
aspire to do the right thing. So I would say start with those two aspects. What is unique about me that I'm bringing to the marketplace that I want to bring out of me and into the marketplace, but also what do I want to aspire to be? And so
Right.
if you're looking to build core values, I would kind of approach
Mm.
that. A couple of years ago, my wife and I were sitting down and we were looking at core values from a standpoint of our family. And it was exactly that. It was like what's important to us and also who do we want our kids to aspire to be?
Mm.
And that's kind of how we went
Right.
about determining what were some core values for our family.
Yeah. Dude, what I love about that, I've never thought of it from a perspective of like, where do you want to be? Because
Yeah.
that's casting vision for yourself and it's casting vision for anybody who you may bring on your team later on, even in the idea of looking at it for your family. It's like, what do we want to build in our kids with these values? Like, how do we want to build them up with it? What's really neat is that values they're a means to be a standard, but they can also grow and evolve over time. There are things that I used to value that or used to be high probably on a core value list that have kind of changed. So like from a perspective of family, my
Yeah,
values have changed from being single to being a dad. You know what I mean? I mean, that's a
absolutely.
drastic change, even just from being single to dating, engaged, married, kids, all that sort of stuff. Values change over time. I mean, my family right now, we're in a process of a similar thing. And so in the business world, we have an opportunity to look at like what is in me, like, and I would almost say, like, if I had to take the best parts of what I feel are in me and put them on paper, what would that be? And
Right.
so it's an opportunity for everyone listening. This is an opportunity for you to be a little like conceited and say, like, golly, I like to think I'm an honorable person. I like to think I'm a person of integrity. And
Yeah.
so because I like to think that I'm that kind of person, I'm going to put that on paper and say, this is who I am. And what's great about core values is that it's something for you to fall upon. And so, like, I would say, if you ever, in any instance, if you ever drop the ball with a client, and you're questioning, well, how do I handle the situation? Go back to your core values and see, like, how does this match up to who I said I am? And does this match up to where I want to grow to be? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so having those in place are seriously so key. And so do you believe that agents should be leading the way in their marketing efforts with core values? Like, do you think that should be something that they should have expressed publicly, or that it should just kind of be interwoven into the DNA? I don't know if that question makes sense. Is that, if you
Yeah.
can answer it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do think it's important. I do think times have changed in the real estate industry where it used to be a lot bigger deal which brand you're with, right? You have
Right.
those those staple brands in real estate, Remax, Century 21. I think the industry is shifting to where that's not as big of a
Yep.
deal. So if you have somebody like us who would be, I guess you consider more of a boutique brokerage, right? People
Sure.
want to know, who are we? See, maybe I've seen your sign before, maybe I've driven by your
Mhm.
building here locally, but you're not a big brand. So what's unique about you and how are you going to help me accomplish my goals? And so I think
Right.
core values are a great way to do that, right?
Mhm.
I have been on a kick over the last couple of years and specifically in some of the videos you've done for me,
Yeah.
I've been focusing on positioning myself to clients and the greater market as a trusted real estate advisor, right? Realtor is a term that's used and can be thrown out. There's a couple million realtors in the United States, right? But for me, what I want to be known as is your trusted real estate advisor. So that's been something I've been pushing to the forefront of, oh, well, Nathan's not just my realtor. He's not just a real estate agent. He's my real estate advisor, right? And
Right.
so there are things like that that can position you well for who you want to be to your clients. And core
Yes.
values
Yes.
are absolutely a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's great is, like, I like how it's like the phrase realtor, like, that's just a title.
Right.
It's like I could have the title of manager. It's just a title, or I'd have the title of owner. And it's so funny because, now hearing some of your explanation, because the content we've shot on many videos that we've done, social media content, you said, do you have a trusted real estate advisor in your life?
Yeah.
I mean, I've listened to the video all the time,
Yeah.
I'll go back and it's just like, but hearing your explanation of it, I'm like, oh my goodness, he just marketed his core values at the beginning and end of his title. He just said, I can be trusted, meaning I have integrity. And I'm an advisor, meaning I provide excellent wisdom to you. So, literally, in that, just being a trusted real estate advisor, you're providing a way to market your core values to other people. And I mean, tell me if you agree with this. Like, I think you will, but people are looking for something relational. Would you agree with that?
100%. 100%. We actually, not only is that one of our core values, but that's how we train agents.
Yeah.
We aren't chasing online leads. We aren't on billboards. We train agents to do business relationally. And what I mean by that is to generate referrals. Studies show that, you get an online lead, you don't know this person from Adam, and you're trying to convince them on why they should do business with you
Mhm.
versus I'm going and I'm marketing to the people who already know and love and trust me to
Yeah.
send me their sphere of influence as a
Mhm.
personal referral. And that's how we train our agents is 100%. Society is looking for that relational connection. And if we can be that um, to people, the odds of not just recruiting that person in as a client, but closing the
Mm.
deal on a referral versus an online lead are night and day different percentage wise.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and just think about the returned referral business that you're going to be getting from that client if you're a person of value who's provided value and who has core values, because I
Absolutely.
mean, anytime I'm looking for to, get like a new camera or something, I'm asking people, I'm like, hey, did you like this brand?
Right.
Like, because there's a million different cameras and same types of gear, different brands, all sorts of stuff. What makes it different? And they'll be like, oh, don't get this one. Customer service wasn't good. I had a huge issue. They could have resolved it, but didn't. And so I mean, it's even looking at things like a simple customer service issue could have solved the problem because
Right.
the quality of the product is great, but because the core value of service wasn't established and serving people well, then it puts a bad name on the brand. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, again, like just looking at what you bleed and who you want to be, and that's why, like I've said, whenever you're a brand and is different than marketing, like your marketing efforts are you putting your best foot forward on how you want people to perceive you, and then those people are the ones that determine what your brand is. So whenever Nathan, like whenever you're putting out a video and you're saying, hey, I'm a trusted real estate advisor, you are telling people this is how I want you to perceive me because I believe this is who I am. And
Absolutely.
then whenever people interact with you, they are either going to confirm that or deny it. And your goal is that they can confirm everything that you marketed about yourself. And so
Yes.
that's why marketing is key. And we've done that with your videos. You've been one of the main clients that I've actually helped with social media content videos, not just listing videos.
Yeah.
And so let's kind of make a shift in that direction. Still talking about core values, obviously, but as why do you value doing the social media content videos? And I'm asking that in a way of how that directs back into your core values. So, like, how are those linked? Why do you value doing the social media content videos and even the listing videos, all that sort of stuff? Why is it valuable to you, and how does that feed back into your core values, do you think?
Yeah, I think specifically for me, video is an amazing avenue to, I guess you could say, begin that introduction of gaining trust, right? Because they can see my headshot with my beautiful smile, and they can
Mm,
go, okay, yeah, he looks like he's trusted. But if I can get on video in front of you and you can hear me talk about, hey, I want to
yeah,
be your trusted
yeah,
real estate advisor. Do you have somebody that you could pick up the phone right now and call and ask any kind of real estate related question that you have? Hey, Nathan, I'm thinking about remodeling my bathroom. Is this really going to add value to my home when I go to sell it? And
mhm,
so my goal in getting in front of people on video is to just kind of start creating that trust. Like, hey, Nathan, not only does he seem knowledgeable and know what he's talking about, but he seems like he's somebody that people really trust. And
right.
so that's my goal with video is I want to put myself out there. And if you'll notice, on most of all of my listing videos that you shoot, I want to be in them, right? Because I'm taking that
Yeah,
opportunity. Not only am I
for sure.
marketing somebody's house, but I want to market myself while I'm marketing that house. And over time, well, there's Nathan. He's got another house. He's got another house. He's got another house. Nathan's really doing a lot of business because I see him always presenting these listings. And so if there's
Mm,
any time, and I think you and I had a conversation about that a while back, I had a land listing, right? And I'm like, I want to do video. And I'm like, because I don't see people doing video on
hmm.
land listings.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just another way I can showcase the property, which benefits my client, but I can also build my brand and show kind of the expertise that I
Mm,
have as well. And there's a lot of agents out there that, sure, we'll pull out all the stops for the $1 million listing, right? We'll get all the videos, all these things. But what I would say is I want videos on my $100,000 listings, right? Because
mm,
I want quality associated with my name on every single thing that I do, right?
mm,
I'm not
yeah.
skimping for you, Mr. $100,000 client. You're getting the same
Mm,
type of quality marketing that my $1 million clients are doing. And so I
wow.
want that kind of quality associated with my name. And that's why video is 100% where it's at for me.
Yeah. Well, and think about the amount of value that adds to your client. The client's like, man, it's just $100,000 listing. and they're doing all this for me, you know? And it's like, and what's, I mean, obviously we know it serves them, but it also serves you as the realtor because you're marketing yourself. But it's like, if the goal, I remember talking to a realtor in this area, I met with her for a meeting to try to earn her business. And spoiler alert, I earned it. It was great. She's an awesome client. And she had said, you know, Kenneth, anytime that I'm looking for people to partner with and stuff, I'm never seeing them, or I'm not even seeing my clients with a dollar sign over their head. I'm seeing them for who they are as people. And so, you know, it comes back to like, you're not doing this to try to gain something and almost like a use your client in a way. You're doing this like, hey, this will benefit your listing. It'll benefit me. And all the while, it's going to grow greater traction to try to get your listing sold, try to allow me the opportunity to serve more people because that video will get me exposure to tell people who I am. And you're so right, because that video, the land listing that we did, I had just talked to another realtor in the area, I think a day or two before or after that, and they were wanting to possibly do a land listing video, but like, I don't really see how we can do it. I don't really, it's just vacant land. And I'm like, Nathan, yours was vacant land. I mean, it wasn't anything like the land itself wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. But we're able to talk about like, you know, how can we sell the dream of the land? You know, what's
Yeah,
around the land? All the while you're on camera being the one to tell that story and you're showing your client, hey, I'm invested in you, I'm invested in your listing, and I'm also like invested in my personal marketing because I want to help and serve as many people as I can. And so it really sets you apart. And so I love that we did that. And I love how you're saying how video truly is like a means of building trust with people. And how I always say it is like it's building trust before you ever have to shake their hand. You know what I mean? I mean,
absolutely.
would you agree with that? Do you feel like that's what it is, building trust before you shake their hand?
Absolutely, 100%. Because, you know, if I recommend a restaurant to you, what's the first thing you do? You go online, you look that restaurant up, you're checking out the ambiance, you're checking out the reviews, you're checking out all these things. Same thing's true. If I get a referral, which is my goal with all of my clients,
Right.
is that they refer me to their friends. What are they gonna do? They're gonna go online and they're gonna look at the videos I've posted, the content I'm doing. And that's gonna be my, other than the referral, that's gonna be one of my first points of touching that person. And I want to
Right.
be as professional, as knowledgeable, and like you talked about, adding value through all my videos that I post so that I can earn trust with,
Mm.
like you said, without even shaking their hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. Well, we're wrapping up here. I have a few more questions for you, if that's okay, if you
Yeah,
got time
totally.
for it. Can you give me an example of like a time where your core values help make a tough business decision? Maybe not having to say the details of it. Have you ever had that where you've had to truly fall back on your core values to be like, okay, who am I? Does this line up to who I said that I am? And can you tell
Yeah.
me how that's played out?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I mentioned earlier that unique core value that we have called grace.
Mm,
And what we mean by that, well, actually, when Brian and Laura founded the company, the initial core value was called no drama. It didn't fall off the tongue like grace falls off the
sure.
tongue. And so they kind of reframed it, renamed it. And the initial tagline to that no drama core value was, there's enough drama in real estate. We ought not to be the source of it. And
Mm,
so now,
sure.
value is grace. It's be kind, positive, and respectful in thoughts, words, and actions. And dude, in the real estate industry, if you're a realtor and you're listening to this, you can absolutely relate. Emotions can get high and heated in the middle of a transaction. And
Yep.
people drop the ball and it affects clients' lives who are trying to move. There's opportunities where I want to just lose my mind on somebody. And I may even have the
Mm,
justification to do so. But then I
yeah.
remember, oh, yeah, there's this core value that we have called grace. And rather
Mm,
than going after that person, maybe I'm going to show kindness and respect, across the aisle. And, that's to other agents, that's to lenders, that's to
right.
appraisers, that's to inspectors. And you know what? Over time, what I've found, that specific core value of having grace with people, oh my gosh, it builds a brand for me just in relation to the people within my industry, not even to clients or to the public, but even just that one core value of having grace has built me rapport, it's built me trust, and it's even built
Mm,
me confidence with other agents who are like, Nathan's on the other side of this deal. He's going to take care of business to see this thing all the way
mm.
through to closing. So,
Yeah, that's
absolutely,
really
I
good.
could give story after story, but
Mm,
grace is one that
yeah.
I'm constantly confronted with.
Yeah, no, that's great. And, like I like how a real estate transaction is a high value transaction in people's lives, whether that's land, whether it's selling a home and buying a new one for a good reason, whether it's somebody has, had a spouse who passed away and they're having to sell, or it's something that's I mean, there's a mantra of different reasons that people could be looking to sell their home or look to buy a new one, all these sort of things. And anytime that money's in play, it's sensitive. When you have some value set in place, it allows you to make sure I'm like, okay, I'm keeping the first things the first things. And I'm going to make sure no matter what, like I may feel like this is a right direction for my client, and I'm going to tell them that. And let's be honest, I mean, you've been in times where I'm sure there's been clients who haven't agreed. They said, no,
Sure.
I don't think we should lower the value of the home. I think, or the price of the home. I think it's valued way higher. And you're like, yeah, but it's not selling. And they're like, I don't care. And so it comes to that in the day, like core values don't mean that you're always right. It just means that you know the foundation that you stand on. And at the end of the day, it's like in that situation, you can be like, okay, I'm still in a relationship where I'm telling them a hard truth to build trust. I'm looking out for what's best for them. It's a sensitive transaction because money's involved. I'm looking out for them in that. And if they don't want to go with it, that's fine. I'll respect their decision and show them grace in that. And then later on, you can go yell on your pillow by yourself,
Yeah,
and just be like,
yeah,
why? But at the end of the day, I think it's about us growing as people in this industry. And Nathan, because what I think is so great about you is that you really uphold, and I mentioned it earlier, the relational aspect of your business. And we have to remember, like, you got to remember that in all your marketing efforts, no matter what you're doing, that relationship business will always be the best way to get business. And so you want to find ways to market yourself relationally. And core values being in place are a great way to do that. Having video on display to show, hey, this is who I am, this is how I operate, this is what I do on every listing. It further builds that trust. It builds relationship with people, and you do a phenomenal job at that. You train your team to do a great job. Laura and Brian, I know, are great people. I've met with them. They actually gave me. I did a dinner with you guys where I took some pictures and photos a year or two ago, and they let me sit at their table, and I was the only one at their table. I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to talk about, and they just invested in me as a young entrepreneur to say like, hey, you always got to keep this in mind. Always do this. And y'all are doing a phenomenal, phenomenal job at sales team. And Nathan, I honor you as a person who doesn't cut corners. You just are really good about upholding who you are, having integrity, and just being a person that people really can trust. A trusted real estate advisor in the fullest sense. You're awesome. Let me say one, or ask one more question,
yeah.
and then I think we'll be done. If you had any advice for newer real estate agents out there, if they're whether it's they're trying to figure out, do I do video, or like I feel like I have these ideas of core values or whatever. What would be your number one piece of advice that you would give a new agent, even if it's core value based or not? What would you tell them coming into the industry, how they can become successful?
Yeah, I think, I go back to, and this, you mentioned it earlier because it was one of the first things I shared with you, right? The law of value changed my life
Mm,
in business. And what the law of value is that you always seek to add value to people. When I'm sitting across from somebody, I'm actively listening to how I can add value. Not trying to make a sale, not trying to close a deal, not any of that. I am actively listening. How can I add value to your life, right? And if you, as a brand new agent in the business, will seek to add value, you'll always be successful. Always be successful. And what I mean, I quickly I was remembering a story that I was one time sitting across from a client at lunch, listening to him tell me about some hardships he was having at his job. And he was working at this marketing firm. And I hated to hear the struggles he was having. So as I was actively listening to him, I was thinking, who do I know that's also in marketing that could help this client out? Well, I thought of another friend who owned a marketing firm. And I said, by the end of the lunch, I said, I'm going to connect you with this guy. And 2 weeks later, lo and behold, my client guy had a brand new job at a local marketing firm where he was felt valued, he was benefiting, he had higher pay. And so not only did I help that client out, but I also helped the friend out by sending him a great employee. All of that happened because I was just sitting there listening to how I could add value. How can I help? How can I, is there anything I could do for this person? How can I just simply add value? And so if you will do
Yeah.
that, it will change your business dramatically. It's not always about closing the sale. It's not always about
Right.
closing the deal. It's about taking care of people. And if you take care of people, your business will take care of itself.
Yep, you're exactly right, man. Whenever you told me that day that you said I was looking for ways that I could add value to you, and I said it blew my mind from a business perspective.
Yeah.
I literally changed the vision statement of my business after that day. Changed the vision statement of my business. I went home to Courtney. I'm like, I just learned the most amazing thing of my life. This is going to change my
Yeah.
business forever. And my vision used to be, we exist to build your brand into a legacy. And it was short, catchy. I'm like, yeah, this is what I
Yeah.
want to do. But then whenever you told me about the adding value thing, I'm like, "Oh, that's the missing key." I'm like, the vision is now we exist to add value to your brand and build it into a legacy. So everything I'm doing, every single business choice I'm making, like this podcast, is literally a means to add value to people because I'm not getting paid for this, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be creating content from this short form to be able to share with you, Nathan, to add value to you. I had somebody text me while we're doing this podcast saying that they listened to the first episode saying, I love the podcast. I'm just like, that's why, because I want every realtor who's listening to feel like they are so empowered to go out and crush it and feel like they got enough value from these
Yeah.
conversations to get to the next level in business and building their brand. That's what I want to do. And so I thank you for the impact you've added in my life from a business perspective and from a friendship. Just like the adding value portion is so, so, so important. And I think further too, like if there's any realtors, if I would say a quick tip, if you're looking for ways, you're like, how, like, I don't know what my values are. Nathan, you gave some great examples earlier, but if you're just like, I still don't really know, like, I can't figure it out on my own, what are my core values? I would go to like your top five, six, seven friends that you have, people that you trust, and say, whenever you think of me and characteristics of myself, what is one thing you think of whenever you think of
Yeah.
Kenneth Clary, whenever you think of Nathan Pinkerton, what's the one thing you think of? And you let them tell you how they see you, how they view you, and that can help you have a great foundation of like, this person sees me as dependable. So that's going to be a value of mine, that we're going to be dependable in everything we do. And what's awesome is because they already view you as that, you don't really have to try hard at it. You just keep being you and doing you, and you just build upon that a greater legacy to help build your brand, build your character, always grow, and like literally you'll always be successful. So
Totally.
yeah. But well, Nathan, man, I so greatly appreciate you being on the
Yeah.
podcast today. People can find you on Instagram and Facebook. I don't know your handle that you have. I know your
Yeah, I
name
think
is
it's
Nathan Pinkerton.
Instagram is at Nathan underscore Pinkerton. And then Facebook, you can find me. I've got business and personal pages where I post all my content as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Perfect. Well, man, thank you so much. And for everyone listening, thank you for being part of the conversation today. Listen, I want to see you going out and just forming some core values, establishing who you are, and for you to notice with your eyes, your mind, and your heart, for you to know this is who I am. And then to begin to find effective ways that you can market that. And we talked about you can do it in video, you can do it through networking, but begin marketing your core values in a way for people to begin knowing who you are in order that you can build trust with them before you ever particularly shake their hand. So, anyways, Nathan, thank you so much, man. For everyone watching, thank you. We'll get you on the next one. Have a great day.